The room was full of creatures from hundreds of worlds. Some had scales, some had fur, some had shells that glimmered like metal. They moved nervously, whispering to each other, casting quick glances at the small figure standing at the center of the chamber. Humans were rare in the galaxy, and this one was alone. He looked ordinary, just another man in a simple uniform, but there was a quiet weight to his presence. The silence of the room grew heavier as the alien general stepped forward. His armor gleamed, covered with medals and marks of countless wars. His eyes, sharp and calculating, fixed on the human. "You," the alien said in a deep, echoing voice. "Human, we have heard of your deeds. Tell us, what is your kill tally?" The words echoed through the chamber, bouncing off the walls like thunder. Every alien froze. Conversations stopped. Even the faint hum of the station's engines seemed to quiet down. The question was simple, but it carried power. It was a question no one had ever dared to ask a human. The human stood still. His eyes were calm, almost cold, as if he had been waiting for this moment. Round him, the galaxy's most feared warriors and cunning diplomats stared, their jaws tight, their hearts pounding. They had expected arrogance, rage, maybe even panic. They had not expected calm. In that silence, small flashes of memory came to the human's mind. He remembered asteroid fields where enemy ships tried to trap him, only to explode under his precise maneuvers. He remembered deserts on distant planets where he had faced ambushes by thousands of alien soldiers and survived. Quiet moments after battles, when he would stand alone among the wreckage, counting losses not as a man, but as a force of nature. A whisper traveled through the room. "How can one human have such power?" asked a small creature with translucent skin and eyes like glowing coals. Another hissed, "He must be lying. No human can." But the words trailed off. The evidence of his reputation had reached them all. The human spoke finally, his voice calm and low. "More than you can count," he said. A shiver ran through the chamber. That was it. No exaggeration, no flourish, just truth. The alien general's eyes narrowed. "More than what?" he demanded. "Give us a number." Human smiled faintly, not cruelly, but with a quiet understanding of the fear he inspired. "It is not the number that matters," he said. "It is what those numbers mean. Every ship, every soldier, every fleet I have faced. Each choice shaped the galaxy. Each life I have taken was a lesson for those who thought they could underestimate humans." Murmurs filled the room again. Some whispered in fear, some in admiration. The human had not only survived, he had become legend. They had heard tales of him for decades, but seeing him in person, hearing his calm words, made the legends feel small. An alien ambassador stepped forward, his voice trembling slightly. You fought entire fleets alone. You toppled cities. You survived battles no one should survive. How? How is this possible?" The human's eyes scanned the room slowly. "Because humans do not fight like others. We do not only rely on strength, we rely on thought, on chance, on fear, and on courage." One of the larger alien warriors let out a low growl, frustrated and confused. "Courage? That is a poor excuse for the destruction you bring." The human shook his head. Slowly, "It is not an excuse. It is fact. You will see it if you continue to underestimate us. The galaxy has many rules. We do not break them lightly, but we do not obey them blindly either." A pause fell again, heavier than before. The weight of his words pressed on every listener. Some tried to hide it, but fear had reached their bones. They had faced countless enemies, creatures far larger, stronger, and smarter than humans. Yet here they were, silenced. A young alien officer, barely out of training, stepped forward, trembling. What will you do next?" Eyes glinted with quiet fire. "I do not announce my plans. Those who wish to know will see in their own time. Those who do not will not survive." The air in the room thickened. No one spoke. Some of the older generals exchanged nervous glances. Many had seen horrors, yet the presence of one human made them feel powerless. Stories of the humans' tactics had traveled faster than light across the galaxy, but they had always thought the stories were exaggerated. Now realized they were not exaggerations, they were warnings. Outside the chamber, small monitors displayed the events in real time to nearby fleets. Alien leaders saw the calm human standing alone, answering questions with a simple voice. They could see the reaction of their own warriors, the panic, the fear, the disbelief. And in every corner of the galaxy where his name was known, the same reaction spread silently. Awe, fear, and an unsettling certainty that the rules of war had changed. The human took a slow breath, looked at each alien in the chamber, not with hatred, not with anger, but with the quiet patience of someone who had seen civilizations rise and fall.
Ow!
"You're asking about my kills," he said.
Ow!
"But what you should be asking is why humans fight at all. We fight not for conquest, not for glory. We fight because we must, because survival demands it, and because we cannot allow others to threaten what we value most." A hush fell again. Even the alien general, proud and ruthless, could not break it. The room seemed suspended in time, the weight of human experience pressing down like gravity. Every creature there realized the truth. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and that mistake could cost them everything. Then the human turned slightly, walking to the edge of the chamber. His steps were quiet but deliberate. Every eye followed him, stopped, glanced back, and said simply, "Do not mistake silence for weakness. You will hear from us again, and when you do, you will remember this moment." With that, he left the chamber, leaving behind whispers, fear, and a galaxy stunned into silence. The alien general slammed a clawed hand against the table. "Prepare the fleets. Track him. Stop him before it is too late." But deep down, even he knew it was already too late. One human, standing alone, had shifted the balance of power. Human, with a calm voice and steady eyes, had made the entire galaxy reconsider everything they thought they knew in the corridors outside. Humans moved silently among aliens, unnoticed, blending into the chaos of the station. But their presence was felt. Legends were no longer stories. They were real. And the galaxy had just been reminded of a simple, terrifying truth. Underestimate a human, and the cost is beyond imagining. And somewhere, far away in the void of space, human ships glinted in the starlight, ready.
Us.
Each one a silent promise. Each one a counting of what had been, what would come, and what the galaxy would never forget. The void of space was silent, but it was the kind of silence that carried danger. Human ships moved like shadows between asteroids and drifting debris, almost invisible to alien sensors. The galaxy had been warned about humans, but nothing could prepare them for what they were about to see. In the command deck of a massive alien warship, officers shouted in alarm. "Sensors! Where is it?" One screamed, clawed fingers pounding the console. "It should be here, our fleet is massive." But it was already too late. A single human vessel appeared from the shadows. It was small, almost fragile-looking compared to the alien dreadnoughts, but the human inside had a mind as sharp as a supernova. The alien fleet had numbers, firepower, and experience, but the human had something far more dangerous: unpredictability, with calm precision. The human ship darted between enemy cruisers, launching tiny drones and energy pulses that caused massive chain reactions. One by one, the alien ships erupted, their explosions painting the darkness with fire. Officers on nearby warships screamed as their comrades were vaporized almost instantly. The human did not celebrate. There was no cheer, no gloating. Only calm, steady focus, moving from one target to the next. The galaxy had legends of human courage, but no one had seen it in action like this. Alien warriors, some of the fiercest fighters in the galaxy, stared at their screens in disbelief. "How can one human do this?" whispered a young officer. In the chaos of the battlefield, the human's mind worked like a machine. He calculated trajectories, predicted enemy maneuvers, and turned every weakness against them. Fleets that had destroyed planets now faltered. Under his strategy, His movements were so precise, so unexpected, that the aliens began to panic. "Focus. Target him," bellowed the fleet commander, his voice echoing in the bridge. "Do not let him escape." But the human was already gone. One moment he was in front of them. The next, he slipped between asteroids, appearing behind the enemy. Fleet like a ghost. Another alien warship exploded before it could fire, sending debris spinning into the void. The fleet commander slammed a clawed hand against the console. "Impossible. Our formations are weapons they should have stopped." Him. Meanwhile, small alien scouts, observing from a distance, recorded everything. They watched as one human obliterated a fleet larger than any single system. The footage would later circulate across countless star systems, a warning and a testament. To human power, even the most seasoned alien generals, those who had survived countless wars, whispered the same phrase. The human. He is unstoppable. The human ship moved with purpose. He was not destroying for pleasure. Each attack was precise, calculated, leaving surviving ships disabled, but not completely destroyed. This was a warning, a demonstration of what humans could do when pushed. He wanted the galaxy to understand, not just fear, but respect. On a nearby planet, alien diplomats watched the battle unfold on large screens. Their discussions fell silent as the human ship struck again, obliterating a massive cruiser with a single well-aimed energy pulse. Children and elders alike watched, unsure if they should flee or simply pray. The galaxy had heard stories of human warfare, but seeing it was something else entirely, pure terror, wrapped in efficiency. The human did not pause to look at his destruction. He moved forward, navigating asteroid fields, weaving through debris, always calculating. A small explosion near the edge of the battlefield forced a group of alien ships to scatter. Instead of following them, he used their movement to his advantage, trapping more of their fleet in crossfire. Each alien vessel that fell added to the legend, adding weight to his reputation. Some alien officers tried to communicate, sending messages demanding surrender. "Human, yield now. You are outnumbered. You will die." The human's reply was simple, almost mocking in its calm. "You underestimated us. That was your first mistake. Count carefully. Your next mistake will be your last." Panic spread. Orders were shouted and ignored. Alien warships collided in confusion. Commanders tried to regroup, but the human anticipated every move, predicting every reaction, turning the alien's strength into weakness. By the time the smoke of the battlefield cleared, the human had destroyed more than half of the fleet, without a scratch to his ship, and still he did not celebrate. He scanned the remaining fleet with cold, calculating eyes. Every movement, every hesitation, told him what the aliens would do next. Even in their panic, they had not yet realized the humans' full strategy. Back at the alien council chambers, reports flooded in. "It is true," said one ambassador, voice trembling. "The human. He has destroyed an entire fleet single-handedly. They call him a human," another whispered, "but he is more than that. He's a force of nature." The human, meanwhile, moved silently back to a hidden station far from the battlefield. He did not linger in the victory. His goal was never glory, only survival and warning. The galaxy had been told of humans, but now, for the first time, they had witnessed what one could truly accomplish. In the dark expanse of space, the human paused. Stars twinkled coldly around him, distant suns casting faint light on his ship. He allowed himself a small breath. Another battle had passed, another warning delivered. The galaxy would remember this day. The galaxy would learn that humans were not creatures to be underestimated. Far across the stars, alien fleets regrouped. Commands were shouted, plans were made, alliances formed in panic. Every species that had once thought humans weak now feared the quiet killer who had struck without warning. And somewhere, the whispers began. One human against all. Unstoppable. The human did not hear these whispers. He did not care. He had done what he set out to do. The galaxy had seen a human strike, and for the first time they understood the quiet, terrifying truth. Humans were not just survivors, They were predators, clever, ruthless, and deadly in ways no one could predict. And in that silence after the storm, one thing was clear: the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy had never been so tense. From the smallest mining colonies to the largest war fortresses, alarms and warnings buzzed constantly. Every species that had heard the tales of the human fleet now understood that one man could change everything. The alien councils met in panic, their voices overlapping, arguing, shouting, blaming each other. But no plan could seem good enough. In a dark command room orbiting a gas giant, the alien admiral pounded his clawed hands on the console. "Cannot let him strike again. Track him, find him, destroy him." His voice trembled, though he tried to hide it. Hundreds of officers scurried, eyes wide with fear, trying to coordinate fleets spread across multiple star systems. But the human was already moving. His ship glided silently through asteroid belts and black holes, appearing where no sensors could detect him. He was a ghost, impossible to follow. Every fleet that tried to track his movements ended up chasing shadows. One by one, alien admirals reported failure. Every attempt to locate him only revealed another human ship appearing elsewhere, attacking a supply convoy or disabling a communications station. Alien scientists worked frantically adjusting sensors, scanning the void for patterns, trying to predict his path. They studied old battle data, histories of human combat, every report they could find, and yet nothing prepared them for this. The human did not fight like any species in the galaxy. He used misdirection, careful timing, and tricks no alien could anticipate. He was not just smart, he was almost impossible to predict. In a remote corner of space, a small alien scout fleet was dispatched to intercept him. They moved carefully, believing that numbers and coordination would be enough. But as soon as they reached his last known location, they found nothing. Sensors showed empty space. Then, a warning flashed. Their rear cruisers were being destroyed in another system, hundreds of light minutes away. The scout commander screamed in frustration. Impossible. We were right on him. The human ship had moved again, faster than any known method of travel the aliens understood. He was everywhere and nowhere at once. Every ambush, every trap, every calculation the aliens made failed. Panic spread through the fleets. The phrase "one human, unstoppable" grew. Louder whispered in every corner of the galaxy. Meanwhile, the human observed quietly from the shadows. He was not hunting for glory. He was testing the galaxy, showing them that humans were not to be underestimated. Every move he made was precise, calculated, and deadly if provoked. Yet he also left small signs of mercy-destroying weapons and ships, but leaving surviving crews alive when possible, sowing fear and respect in equal measure. In the alien council chambers, leaders argued bitterly. "We must capture him," one demanded. "We cannot allow a single human to threaten all our worlds." Another shook her head. "You not see? He is not just a human. He is something else. He moves faster than our fleets, predicts our strategies, and turns our strengths into weaknesses. Our fleets are meaningless against him if we do not understand him," a younger officer whispered, barely audible. "Is it true that he counts his kills and learns from every one?" The older council members glanced at each other, fear in their eyes. The stories had been exaggerated, they thought, but now they realized the truth. The human learned with every encounter. Every ship destroyed, every fleet defeated, made him smarter, faster, more dangerous. They had no idea where he would strike next. In a faraway sector, the human paused near a dying star. He did not need to hide, but he used the star's radiation to cloak his ship from sensors. He reviewed every fleet's movements, every reaction to his last attacks. Patterns emerged, but only for a moment. Then he vanished again, leaving the aliens confused and frustrated. Rumors began to spread through the galaxy. In marketplaces, on military stations, in the quiet corners of diplomatic halls, aliens whispered, "The human is everywhere. He watches from the shadows. He cannot be stopped." Even those who had never seen him felt his presence, an invisible force reshaping their world. Meanwhile, the human's reputation grew, and so did the fear. Entire fleets changed course at the mention of his name. Officers who once prided themselves on courage trembled in their chairs. Alliances that had lasted centuries were questioned. Each species wondered if they could survive the human's wrath, or even his presence. The human did not seek war, but he understood it. He knew the galaxy underestimated him, and he intended to show them why humans were dangerous. Not reckless, not brutal for pleasure, but clever, adaptive, and unstoppable. As the alien fleets regrouped, trying desperately to track him, the human silently smiled. He had become more than a fighter. He had become a symbol. The whispers of his kill tally, the stories of fleets destroyed, and the legends of his strategy spread like wildfire. Every alien fleet now moved with caution, hesitation, fear. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson. Underestimate a human at your own peril and far away. In the cold darkness of space, the human ship glimmered faintly under distant starlight. He was ready. The hunt had begun, and he was already 3 steps ahead. For the aliens, for the councils. For every warrior who thought they could match him, there would be no mercy, only the quiet, unstoppable precision of a human mind at war. Every radar ping, every desperate fleet order, every whispered conversation across star systems reminded the galaxy of one terrifying truth. One human could change everything. One human could stand against 1,000 fleets. One human was already rewriting the rules of war, and the galaxy waited, silent, for his next move. The human moved through the void of space as though it were a familiar path, though no one in the galaxy had ever traveled it like him. Every jump, every maneuver, every slight adjustment to his ship's trajectory was precise, almost invisible. He had become more than a legend now. He was a shadow in the galaxy, a ghost every fleet feared. Meanwhile, across multiple star systems, alien leaders huddled in council chambers. Their walls were lined with holographic maps of fleets, fleets that had failed, fleets that had been destroyed. "We cannot fight him conventionally," one general admitted, claws tapping nervously on the table. "We cannot trap him. He anticipates everything. He is unpredictable." A diplomat added, voice shaking, "We thought humans were weak, fragile. That was a mistake. He does not fight like we expect. He fights differently. He thinks differently. He wins differently." The human did not need to hear their words. He already understood them. Every plan they made, every fleet they sent, every trap they set, he anticipated.
Hot.
Not because he could see the future, but because he understood the galaxy. He understood the arrogance of other species, the way they relied on numbers, technology, and fear. Humans relied on something else: creativity, unpredictability, and courage. In one dark sector, human ships slipped past a massive blockade of alien warships. The aliens had thought they had learned his patterns, had studied every maneuver, every strike, every battle he had fought. They had charts, calculations, and strategies. Yet the human moved through the blockade as if it were not there, leaving disabled ships in his wake while escaping without a scratch aboard one of the alien warships. The officers stared at the sensors in disbelief. "Impossible," shouted a commander. "Our scanners are weapons. They should have stopped him," a small, nervous officer whispered. "It is as if he is not just a human. He is something else." The human did not fight for pleasure. He fought to prove a point. He fought to teach the galaxy that humans were dangerous not because of brute strength or advanced weapons, but because of their minds, their cunning, and their willingness to act when others hesitate. Each move was deliberate. Each strike had meaning. Every ship destroyed was a message, not just a kill. Somewhere in the galaxy, a small fleet of alien scouts reported on his movements. "He saved those civilians," one said, voice full of awe. "He destroyed the enemy's ships, but left the people alive." "Why?" "Because that is how humans fight," another whispered. "We do not understand it. He teaches lessons, but not only through destruction. Sometimes mercy is the weapon that terrifies more than death." The human strategy was becoming clear. He was reshaping the galaxy's understanding of war. His victories were not random, they were lessons. Each fleet destroyed, each alien forced to retreat, each star system spared or spared only partially was calculated to send a message. He was teaching patience, respect, and fear, all at the same time. Back on a heavily fortified alien station, the Council debated. We cannot fight him directly. We cannot trap him. He anticipates everything. One alien elder slammed a fist on the table. Then we must understand him, study him, learn his code. But even as they studied, the human continued to evade, to confuse, to dominate. His ship slipped into regions where sensors failed, where light barely traveled. Yet he never lost track of his enemies. He moved silently, watching, calculating, preparing for the next encounter. A young alien soldier, observing from a training simulator, asked, "Why does he move like that? Why does he fight like that?" An older officer shook his head. "It is human nature. We cannot predict it. We can only react and hope we survive." And survive, they barely did. Every fleet that engaged him suffered severe losses. Every encounter left the aliens more cautious, more fearful. And with every engagement, the legend of the human grew, spreading like wildfire across star systems. Whispers traveled faster than light. "He is everywhere," they said. "He sees everything. He is unstoppable." One quiet moment, the human paused near a dying star. A light glinted off his ship, highlighting its sleek surface. He did not linger. He studied the star. Briefly, not for safety, but for strategy. The galaxy expected humans to attack, to strike, to fight blindly. But humans observed. Humans waited. Humans learned. That was why he was different. That was why he was feared. On a distant station, alien leaders watched the patterns of his movements. "He does not fight like a normal species," one said. "He adapts. He learns. He grows stronger with every battle." "Yes," another replied. "He is not only fighting ships or fleets. He is fighting minds, systems, and fear itself. He teaches the galaxy that humans are not just another species. They are something else entirely." The human moved silently, again, disappearing into the blackness of space. He left behind confusion, fear, and a new understanding of power. The galaxy had seen him strike, evade, and survive, but they did not yet understand the full depth of his methods. That would come later. For now, the human had made his point. Humans were clever, adaptable, and unpredictable. No fleet, no strategy. No alien mind could contain them. And somewhere, deep in the council halls, an alien officer whispered, his voice trembling, "We have seen his kills, his strategy, but we do not know why he fights." And that is what terrifies me most. The human did not hear the words. He did not need to. He had already begun planning his next move, preparing for the battles ahead, ready to strike again when the galaxy least expected it. And as he vanished among the stars, leaving fleets bewildered and leaders panicked, one truth became certain. Humans were no longer just survivors. Humans were masters of war in ways the galaxy could barely comprehend, and the galaxy would remember. For every ship destroyed, every fleet scattered, and every life spared, that the human was not just a killer. He was a teacher. He was a shadow. He was a force that no one could stop. The galaxy was on edge. Across star systems, fleets scrambled to coordinate, but every plan seemed flawed. Every trap vulnerable. The human had become a ghost that haunted their strategy. They called it the Thousand Worlds Trap, a plan meant to capture or destroy him once and for all. Entire sectors were prepared armadas, fortified stations, and cunning ambushes stretched across space like a net. On the bridge of the largest alien flagship, the commanders watched the final deployment with nervous excitement. "This time, we will catch him," growled the admiral. "He will have nowhere to hide. He cannot escape all of this." Elsewhere, the human observed quietly from the shadows. His ship slipped past distant patrols, scanning every fleet, every formation, every signal. He understood the trap instantly. The human's mind did not need trial and error, calculated, predicted, and adapted. The aliens had tried to contain him with numbers. Numbers were meaningless if they were predictable. As the fleets closed in, the human began his subtle counter-strategy. Small decoys, hidden drones, and carefully timed energy pulses created confusion in the alien formations. He moved faster than the sensors could track, appearing in one system while seeming to vanish from another. Alien officers shouted orders, only to have their commands ignored or countered in ways they had not imagined. Suddenly, the first line of the trap fell apart. A fleet that had counted itself secure was destroyed almost instantly, torn apart by invisible attacks. Officers screamed as their ships exploded, unable to understand the pattern, unable to see the threat. The human moved silently, striking again and again. Each attack was precise, leaving survivors only where it served his purpose. He was not slaughtering blindly, he was teaching a lesson. Every fleet that fell, every ship disabled, sent the same message: humans were clever, unpredictable, and unstoppable. In one corner of the galaxy, a young alien officer tried to call for reinforcements. His voice trembled as he spoke. We cannot contain him. He anticipates every move. He was cut off by an explosion that rocked the station. The human had anticipated the call. He struck not at the officer's fleet, but at the signal relay, leaving the alien fleet in chaos. Orders could not reach the ships. Formations crumbled. Confusion spread faster than panic. Meanwhile, the human deployed a series of small, almost invisible drones. They moved through the fleets like shadows, sabotaging engines, weapons, and communications. Entire squadrons were immobilized before they even realized what had happened. The Thousand Worlds trap, carefully constructed with years of planning, unraveled like a brittle web. The alien commanders grew frantic. "How can one human do this?" shouted one, slamming a claw against a console. "We set a trap across 1,000 worlds. Every fleet prepared, every station fortified, and he destroys us anyway." The human did not pause. He moved through the battlefield with calm precision, each strike deliberate, each action measured. He was not just fighting fleets. He was turning their own strength against them. Alien ships collided with one another, distracted and confused. Stations malfunctioned. Warships that had been symbols of fear and power were reduced to drifting wrecks. In the council chambers, the alien leaders panicked. They had studied him, tried to predict him, tried to trap him, but the human had shown them that prediction was impossible. He was not only stronger than a single fleet, he was smarter than their entire strategy. Amid the chaos, the human sent a simple message across the void, one that the aliens intercepted and feared instantly. "You should have asked first." It was short, calm, terrifying. The galaxy felt the weight of those words. Every fleet that had tried to capture him paused. Every commander knew that the human was not acting recklessly. He was precise, calculated, unstoppable. The silence that followed was heavier than any explosion. Filled with the knowledge that the human had turned the Thousand Worlds trap into a lesson for the galaxy. As fleets limped away, scattered and broken, whispers traveled faster than light. One human cannot be contained. He anticipated everything. Teaches through fear and mercy. The galaxy began to understand that humans were not just fighters. They were something more, something unpredictable, something that reshaped the rules of war. Far from the chaos, the human paused near a dying planet. He watched the fleets retreating, leaving wreckage behind, leaving fear behind, leaving a message no alien could ignore. He did not celebrate. Humans did not seek glory. He had made the point, and that point was clear. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and it would cost them to do so again. In quiet sectors, young aliens whispered his name. Older commanders feared him, and entire fleets reconsidered their strategy. One human had faced 1,000 worlds and emerged unscathed. One human had not. Only survived a trap designed to kill him. He had turned it into a lesson. And somewhere, far in the cold emptiness of space, the human prepared for the next challenge. The galaxy had been warned. Fleets would regroup, strategies would change, and the hunt would continue. But for now, the human had shown the truth. No trap, no fleet. No alien mind could match the precision, cunning, and courage of a human. The galaxy would remember this day. The Thousand Worlds trap would be taught as a cautionary tale. The human had not just survived, he had dominated. And in the shadows, ready for the next strike, he moved silently, a ghost among the stars, unstoppable, unpredictable, and unafraid. The galaxy was quiet, but not peaceful. Alien fleets lingered in distant systems, hesitant to move, hesitant to make a mistake. The whispers of the humans' victories had spread to every corner of space. Every commander, every officer, every soldier knew his name, and every one of them feared him. In the vast emptiness between star systems, the human ship glided silently. He did not strike today. He did not need to. The galaxy was already watching, already waiting, already uncertain. He had survived battles, destroyed fleets, and evaded traps meant to kill him. Now, he prepared for the next step. He was not alone. Small human ships, hidden in shadowed sectors, moved quietly, carrying supplies, intelligence, and allies. Humans were not only fighters, they were strategists, observers, and planners. Each one of them moved with purpose, carefully positioned to support the main ship. The galaxy could see some of them, but most remained invisible. Secret army waiting for the right moment. Far across the stars, alien leaders debated. Cannot attack him, one admitted, claws tapping nervously on the console. We do not know where he is, what he is planning, or how many humans there are. We cannot risk another mistake. Another council member spoke, voice trembling. Do you not see? He is teaching the galaxy. He fights, but he also shows mercy, spares lives, protects the weak, and still dominates fleets. What kind of mind is this? What kind of human? Meanwhile, the human observed from a hidden sector, watching a small alien planet under threat. Enemy ships were preparing to bombard the surface, intending to enslave or destroy the population. The human's eyes narrowed. He moved quickly, sending drones to disable weapons and shields. Within minutes, the alien fleet was forced to retreat, their plans foiled. Civilians cheered from below, unaware of the ghostly ships that had saved them. It was a small victory, but it carried a powerful message. Humans were not just killers, they were protectors. Their power was balanced by thought, intelligence, and choice. Every fleet that had attacked innocents now hesitated. Every commander who had underestimated humans began to question themselves. The whispers grew louder. He protects the weak and destroys the strong, moves unseen, strikes without warning, and yet shows mercy. This is not just war. This is a lesson in human nature. The human moved again, leaving the planet behind. He checked communications with other hidden human ships. Small, careful messages passed between them, codes, warnings, and updates. They were building alliances quietly, preparing for battles the galaxy could not yet imagine.
Ow.
Every species that had doubted humans now had reason to fear them. Back at an alien war council, fear had reached every corner. Officers whispered to each other, trying to understand what they had seen. He is not predictable, one said. We cannot plan against him. We cannot fight him directly. The council's leader slammed a clawed hand on the table. Then, we must wait. We must study. We must survive long enough to understand him. But understanding him was impossible. The human did not move like any other species. He did not rely solely on numbers, on weapons, or on conventional strategy. He relied on thought, observation, and courage, adapted to every situation, anticipated every move, and turned fear into power. Even the aliens' best scouts had failed. Every attempt to locate him had ended in disaster or confusion. Every fleet that tried to engage him alone was destroyed. The human was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. He had become a shadow in the galaxy, a force that could not be touched. Yet always present in the quiet sectors, the human prepared for what was coming next. He knew the galaxy would regroup. He knew the aliens would plan again. But he also knew they would never truly understand him, never truly anticipate him, humans. were clever, adaptable, and fearless. They learned from every battle, every mistake, and every encounter. And so the human waited, not idly, but patiently, ready to strike when the moment was right. Every hidden ship, every secret plan, every quiet action in the shadows reinforced a single truth: humans were not to be underestimated. The galaxy had seen power, fleets, weapons, but humans had something far more dangerous: intelligence, courage, and the will to act when others hesitated. The whispers continued to spread. Every fleet that had faced him, every officer that had seen his victories, every system that had been saved or destroyed carried the same message: humans are unpredictable. Humans are unstoppable. Humans are a force the galaxy cannot ignore. And somewhere deep in the void, the human ship moved silently toward the next point of conflict. Fleets would scatter. Commands would fail. Galaxy would once again learn that humans were not only survivors, they were masters of war, guardians of life, and teachers of fear. For now, he was patient. But the moment to strike again was approaching. And when it came, the galaxy would see the full power of a human mind at war. The galaxy held its breath. Word had spread across hundreds of star systems. The human and his fleet were preparing for the ultimate confrontation. Alien fleets from dozens of species gathered in a single sector, determined to crush the human once and for all. They called it the Final Convergence, a trap designed to end the human threat forever. On the bridge of the alien flagship, commanders barked orders at their massive fleets. "Surround him from every angle," shouted the admiral. "Do not let a single human escape." Every eye watched the holographic map. Every sensor pinged in anticipation. They believed numbers would win. They believed strength would prevail. They believed they could finally stop the human. But the human was already moving. His small fleet slipped through the shadows of asteroid fields and debris, undetected. His ships were scattered, yet coordinated with perfect precision. Every vessel had a role, every movement planned. The aliens saw only fragments of his strategy. They could not see the whole picture. Suddenly, the humans struck. A series of rapid, coordinated attacks hit the alien vanguard. Ships exploded before they could fire. Energy pulses disabled weapon systems on massive dreadnoughts. Alien officers shouted, trying to respond, but every countermeasure failed. Human anticipated each move, turning their numbers into chaos. The final convergence quickly became a disaster for the aliens. Their massive fleets collided in confusion, their formations broken. One by one, their ships were disabled or destroyed. The human moved like a shadow, appearing where the enemy least expected him, vanishing before retaliation. His fleet operated with silent efficiency, invisible yet lethal. A young alien officer, watching the battle unfold, whispered to a comrade, He is everywhere at once. How is this possible?" The older officer shook his head. "He is not just a human. He is a force beyond our understanding." Meanwhile, the human focused on strategy rather than destruction. He spared small ships when possible, disabling them instead of annihilating them. Civilians and prisoners were protected. But every alien that had attacked or plotted against him learned quickly: humans were clever, ruthless when needed, and always one step ahead. The galaxy watched in disbelief as the final convergence collapsed. Alien fleets that had believed themselves unstoppable now fled, some surrendering, some destroyed. The humans' calm, precise attacks had turned an overwhelming force into a scattered, defeated group. The sheer audacity of one human commanding a few ships against thousands of warships became the story of the century. The admiral of the alien flagship slammed his claws on the console. "Impossible," he shouted. Every plan, every formation, every strategy he anticipated, all of it. How can one human do this? The human ship hovered silently, scanning the battlefield. He did not shout in victory. He did not gloat. Humans did not need to. Their power lay in strategy, patience, and the ability to strike at the perfect moment. Every ship destroyed, every fleet scattered. Every decision made was a lesson to the galaxy. Humans were not to be underestimated. Even as alien survivors retreated, Whispers of the humans' exploits spread. Across star systems, fleets and colonies shared tales of his attacks. One human, they said, against thousands? Unstoppable. The galaxy learned that courage, intelligence, and strategy could outmatch numbers, technology, and brute force. The humans' calm presence in the battlefield struck fear deeper than any weapon. Fleets would never forget the efficiency and precision of his attacks. Alien commanders would rethink every strategy they had relied upon for centuries. The human had become more than a warrior. He had become a symbol, a shadow, and a warning all at once. As the smoke of battle cleared, the human's fleet regrouped quietly, leaving the galaxy in awe and fear. He did not chase every fleeing ship. He allowed some to live, carrying the message that humans fought with purpose, not recklessness. But every surviving fleet would carry the memory of defeat, a lesson they would never forget. Far away, in hidden stations, human allies transmitted data and coordinated intelligence. Every move, every observation, every calculation added to the humans' mastery of the battlefield. The galaxy had learned that humans did not rely on overwhelming power alone. They relied on intelligence, courage, and adaptability. That combination was impossible for most species to predict or counter. The human paused in a quiet sect. Far from the chaos he had created, stars twinkled around him, distant and cold. He observed silently, knowing that the galaxy would soon regroup. New challenges would arise. New fleets would hunt him. But humans were patient. Humans were clever. Humans were unstoppable. The galaxy now understood a terrifying truth. No matter the numbers, no matter the technology, one human could outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast them all. One human could change the balance of power in the universe forever and somewhere. Deep in the shadows of space, the human prepared for the next move, calm and ready. The final convergence had failed, but the war was not over. The galaxy would learn again and again that humans were not only survivors, they were masters of strategy, guardians of life, and a force the universe could never ignore. The galaxy had changed forever. Word of the humans' victories traveled faster than light, reaching the farthest planets and the most secretive stations. Fleets, armies, and councils paused in fear at the mention of his name. One human had defeated thousands, outsmarted fleets, taught the galaxy a lesson no one would forget. In a quiet sector of space, the human ship moved calmly among the stars. He was not chasing glory. He did not need to. The galaxy already knew. Every commander, every officer, every species understood that humans were unpredictable, intelligent, and unstoppable. They had learned it through fear, through observation, and through the devastating power of one man. Across the galaxy, alien leaders convened in emergency sessions. "We cannot fight them conventionally," one whispered. "Every strategy fails. Every fleet is turned against us. How do we contain one human?" Another council member shook their head. "We cannot contain them. We cannot predict them. They think differently. They act differently. And every time we attack, we lose." The human had become more than a threat. He was a symbol, a shadow, a warning. The galaxy realized that humans were not just fighters. They were masters of strategy, teachers of caution, and forces that could not be ignored. Meanwhile, the human moved quietly to a hidden sector. His fleet followed, small and unseen, each ship positioned for maximum efficiency. They were ready for the next challenge, but they did not strike yet. The galaxy had been warned. Now it was time for humans to watch and learn, to see how other species would respond to the truth they had ignored for so long. On a distant planet, civilians watched the stars, unaware of the human ships moving above. They did not know of the fleets defeated, the battles won, or the lessons taught. But they felt safer, somehow, knowing that humans were out there, vigilant and unstoppable. In the council chambers of the alien empire, officers debated strategy. "We cannot fight them directly," one said. "We cannot trap them. Every fleet we send is destroyed or turned against us. You're powerless. The human, from his hidden position, observed quietly. He did not need to act. The galaxy was already learning. Humans were not merely survivors. They were clever, patient, and ruthless when necessary. Every movement, every calculation, every decision was precise and deliberate. Whispers grew into legends. Cross star systems, the stories of one humans. Kill tally and strategic genius spread. One human, they said. One human against thousands. Unstoppable. And yet the human remained calm. He had proven a point. The galaxy had learned to respect humans, to fear their unpredictability, and to understand their strength. He had shown that intelligence, courage, and adaptability could outmatch numbers, technology, and tradition. For the first time in history, the galaxy paused. They waited, not knowing when or where humans would strike next, but knowing that when they did, it would be precise, deadly, and unforgettable. In the silent darkness of space, the human allowed himself a moment to reflect. He had fought battles, survived traps, protected the innocent, and taught lessons, yet he did not celebrate. Humans did not fight for glory. They fought for survival, for intelligence, and for the future. The galaxy had learned the ultimate lesson. Humans were not just another species. They were unpredictable, were clever, were unstoppable. One human, one mind, one fleet could change the balance of power across the universe forever. And as the stars glimmered around him, he moved forward, ready for whatever the galaxy would throw next. The legend was complete, but the story was far from over. The galaxy would remember this day, the day one human rewrote the rules of war, and every species, every fleet, every officer would carry the memory of his kill tally, the fear of his strategy, and the knowledge that humans could not be contained. For humans were not merely survivors. Humans were masters of war. Humans were shadows that moved unseen, teachers that struck without warning, forces that would forever change the galaxy. And somewhere, deep in the endless void, the human ship glimmered faintly under distant stars, calm, unstoppable, and ready. The galaxy had learned the truth. Underestimate a human at your own peril.